In this video, we are going to see about tuples in Python. So let's see first of all what is tuple. So tuple means it is nothing but a sequence of items of different types. Normally we heard about arrays. Arrays means it is a collection of storage of the similar type of elements. But tuple, it is a collection of having a different type of elements. That is called tuple. So tuple is an ordered and unchangeable, and then it is allowing a duplicate values. So all the items in the tuple are ordered, which means index at 0 and index at 1, index at 2. So it goes on order wise like that. First element, second element, third element like that. And unchangeable. So we cannot modify the existing element. Once if we have created, we cannot modify anything. So that is unchangeable or immutable. We can say that immutable. Immutable means unchangeable. But it allows duplicate values. So it is an ordered, unchangeable, but it can allow the duplicate values. And so since it is unchangeable, we cannot add any new element or we cannot delete the existing element, because addition and deletion are also contributing to the change. So since tuples are immutable, we cannot add, we cannot delete, and we cannot update. So if you want to do any change, you have to create a new tuple with that change. That is alone is possible. But you cannot modify in the existing tuple. You can create a modified tuple as a new tuple. So this is an example of creating a tuple. Just tuple name equal to and then parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, you can give a collection of mixed data type elements. So here we are storing only 3 string elements: apple, banana, and then cherry. And there is a len function which is used to return the length of the tuple. So here what will be the length? Only 3 string elements are there. So the length will be 3. So these are the different examples of creation of the different type of tuples. So first tuple 1, it can have stored, 3 string elements are stored in this first tuple. Then tuple 2, it can have the storage of integer elements, and tuple 3 is full of boolean elements, and tuple 1, the last tuple 1, it is having a mixed type of elements. Yes, of course. So tuple items can be of any data type. There is no restriction. Next, if you want to know the type of the tuple, so you can give the function type, and then inside that the tuple variable has to be passed. So this will give you the type as the class tuple. So that is the type of the tuple. Next one, how do we create a tuple? How do we create tuple? So we can create a tuple by using a parenthesis. Instead of a square brackets, we are using a parenthesis for tuple creation. So first one, T1, it is an empty tuple. We didn't pass any elements into that tuple. And next T2, it creates the tuple with the 4 integer elements, 12, 34, 56 and 19. And next one, the tuple is created with 5 characters. That is A, B, C, D, E. Then tuple 4. So here we are creating a tuple without a parenthesis. So this is also possible. You can create a tuple without parenthesis. So if you want to know the type of the tuple, then you can easily check using this one. If you want to know the type of the tuple, you can just give type and then tuple name. So you can easily get the class tuple. So whenever you are storing only single element into the tuple, so just you have to use the comma after that single element whenever you are creating a tuple. Otherwise, it is normal. But if you are using tuple means, so you have to add comma after the first element. So that is essential. So we can create a tuple using a tuple class. Tuple class constructor, we can create a tuple. So here empty tuple is created with the tuple class constructor, and here we are passing the parameter to the same constructor. So this will again construct a tuple. So these are the inbuilt functions for tuples. So if you want to know the length, you can easily know the length and max. If you want to find out the maximum element and minimum elements, sum of all the elements, and if you want to find out the particular position of an element and count, it will return the how many number of times it occurs, how many number of times the x occurs. So that is nothing but a count. These are the inbuilt functions for tuples. Just look at this. So I am creating a tuple with apple. So length is 5 and max is p and min is a, and the index of a is 0th position and the count of p is 2. So for all these kind of basic things, we can go for using all these functions. Next one, you all know that tuple is ordered. So we always access the elements by using the index. So tuple name of 1 means, so that refers to the second element. So again there are two types of indexing, positive indexing and negative indexing. If you are moving from the forward direction, then you can use the positive indexing. It always starts from 0 as the first element position. But if you are using a negative indexing, so the last element will be the minus 1th position element. So then later on it is getting decreased, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, it goes on like that. So look at this example, t of 0, what character is there? So there are two types of indexing, positive indexing and then negative indexing for accessing all the elements in the tuple. So if you want to extract only the particular type of substring, I don't want the full text, I just want to extract the particular substring. So for that there is an operator that is used in Python, that is slicing operator. So for getting a substring, you can use the slicing operator. So slicing operator, what will be the syntax means? The start index colon the end index. And then step size can also be done. So these are the operations on the tuples. Plus means concatenation, join, not performing the addition. It's only join. And star means that is replicative operator, multiplication operator. So this will repeat the same content. So these are some of the examples for creating a list. So let's see the demo. How do we create a list? So I am creating a tuple by using a tuple constructor. Just I am creating a tuple variable as t1. I am creating an empty constructor. So let's execute this code. What will happen? This will produce the empty tuple. So this doesn't make any elements. So if I want to store some elements, yes, Of course, I can store the elements. So look at this. Here I am passing three elements inside the tuple. So all these three elements are now it is stored in tuple P2. So how do we access the elements? You can have a mixer type of elements. So without tuple class also you can create a tuple. You can store mixer data type elements. For example, here I am storing three type of data elements. I just want the name alone. So what is the index of the name? It is second element, right? So the index value will be 1. So look at the output. So I am using the positive indexing. If I am using the negative indexing, I am typing it as T3 of minus 2. So negative indexing means it always starts from the last element. So minus 2 means it refers to the jump. So in the same way, you can create a collection of elements and you can find out the maximum, min, count, etc. So you create a new tuple. Let's apply the min function, max function and all. So first we print max. Max of T4. So in which tuple that we want to find out the max. And next min. And then you want to know the type, you can use the type function. Then if you want to know the length, you can use the length function. And you can use count also, how many number of elements in the T2, sorry, T4. So let's run this, let's see the output. Okay, some error is there, that is there in the count. So let's see. Okay, count of some character or some elements have to be given as input, not the entire tuple variable. So I want to know count of 10. So tuple can also allow the duplicate values. You can allow duplicate values. Okay. Now the maximum is 30 and the minimum is 10. And then the type is what? Class tuple. And then the length is 4 elements. So here we are counting Okay, here you have to use the dot count. So that's the error. So here you have to the tuple variable. So what is the tuple variable here? T4 dot count of 10. So in this T4 count the number of tens. So now you will get the output. Just look at this. How many number of tens in this? Only 2. So these are the different methods that you can apply it on the tuple. So tuple we cannot change anything, only we can access it. We cannot add new element, we cannot delete the existing element, and we cannot change the existing element. So in this video you all know that what is a tuple, what are the characteristics of tuple, and how do we create a tuple using a tuple class constructor, and how do we create a tuple without tuple class constructor, and then followed by what are the predefined methods max, min, count, length, type. So how these are functioning that we have seen. Thank you.